Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's actually happy National Pie Day as well here on this Tuesday, March 14th, 2023, Season 5, Episode 32 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210 or email them info@barrycullen.com. And also, guys, you can now pre-order the all-electric Cadillac Lyriq or the all-electric Silverado. And if you want to test drive a Cadillac Lyriq, you can either call Barry Cullen Chevrolet or give them an email, and you can do that as well. And I'm loving my 2023 Chevy Trailblazer I just bought there in January as well. Anyways, guys, thank you everybody for coming on today. I'm looking forward to my guest. This is his third appearance on here. His name is Pat Malacaro. He's the play-by-play announcer for the Buffalo Bisons. He does some update anchoring, reporting, and he's an all-around utility man for the Buffalo Sabres Radio Network on WGR 550. And he also does some college hockey and basketball as well, I believe, for Niagara University as well. So anyways, I'm looking forward to speaking to Pat today, especially about the Buffalo Bisons and maybe what his favorite pie is, since it is National Pie Day. Good afternoon, Pat. How you doing?
Great, Chris. Chocolate pie all the way.
Okay, simple answer. For me, blueberry pie.
There you go. Always chocolate. Yep. No, good to chat with you again.
Yeah, same here. And like I said, that was an exciting win. We'll just talk briefly about the Sabres and we'll get into the Bisons. But that was an exciting win and a must-win for the Sabres last night against the Maple Leafs at the, I keep calling it the Air Canada Center, Scotiabank Center.
Yeah, it was a game that the Sabres had to win, not only because they are getting towards the end of the season, but it was one of the nights that the Islanders weren't playing as well. So it's one of those games in hand that the Sabres had to pick up the 2 points, and whether it was regulation or overtime, just get the 2 points. You're not going to track down Toronto or Tampa Bay, for that matter, for the second or third in the division. So to get those 2 points and falling down 2-0 and then really kicking it in from that point on, not allowing the Leafs a shot on goal for the rest of the second period. It was really an impressive performance. And I think you saw how important Alex Tuch is kind of to help settle everything down with a lot of the chemistry he has with Tage Thompson and Jeff Skinner.
And the Sabres have a couple more road games this week, I believe, at Washington and Philadelphia. Now, did they go back to Buffalo last night, or did they stay in Toronto?
No, they actually went right to Washington following the game last night. They'll be on the road all week. And then, those 3 road games, including last night. And then they'll host Boston on Sunday. So it's not an easy week. Washington's a team the Sabres played well against, beat them here in Buffalo about a week and a half ago on the 26th of February. And, then you got to take on a Philly team that has played well at times. They've played not so great at times. And Boston is the best team in the league. So it's not an easy week.
Absolutely. And you've been a busy guy as well. Obviously, you do work with WGR, the Buffalo Bisons. You do some work for the Sabres radio station. And also you've been doing some play-by-play for some college university teams, I think Niagara. Yeah.
It's something I've really enjoyed being able to do the last couple of years. It started 4 years ago up at Niagara University at the Gallagher Center when the Purple Eagles are home for basketball. I'm on the radio side of things. And the last couple of years, and with my work through the Sabres broadcasts, they've been able to add some hockey play-by-play and color commentary experience as well. So I had fun with that with Niagara this year. Even the Canisius College Golden Griffins, another local team here. They're in the Atlantic Hockey Championship. Canisius and Niagara play in the same conference. I had a chance to do both of those games last week, and it's fun. It's exciting. And, hockey is a sport that I really grew up on the ice and really have a excitement and passion for. So I've been very lucky to be able to add some hockey and certainly basketball to my resume as well.
And also the speed of the game too. I guess baseball is a little slower pace compared to hockey and basketball as well.
Yeah, no doubt. In baseball, there's no line changes. So, hockey, you're always on the fly trying to figure out the new line combinations. Basketball, not as difficult because, you got to wait till a whistle stoppage. And usually it's not 5-for-5 changing wholesale changes. So each has their own challenges. And I like the challenges of them all.
Okay, we'll get into some questions now, Pat. What were your quick thoughts on last year's Buffalo Bison season, and what are you looking forward from this 2023 Buffalo Bisons team? I keep saying the Bills because I guess they made a free agent move today, but just thoughts on last year's Bisons team and what's the direction look like for this 2023 season?
Yeah, it was a unique year, and I feel like I've said that a lot over the last 3 or 4 years. But really, in terms of being at the serving at the pleasure of the parent club, could never have been more true for the Bisons last year. Not only were players up and down from the big leagues, but Casey Candell, who started out as the manager last year, after Charlie Montoyo was relieved of his managerial duties, and John Schneider was named the interim manager. Well, Casey Candell went and served as the interim bench coach for the remainder of the 2022 season. So not only were there a lot of players that started the year in Buffalo and eventually ended up in Toronto and maybe went back and forth, but so same thing for the coaching staff. So it was a unique year in that respect. Jeff Ware, who started the year as the pitching coach, ended up serving as the interim manager for the remainder of the season and really did a good job of trying to keep everything together. The team did not have as much success as they did in 2021. You win the division the year before, and last year finished above 500, but not winning the division. So, by definition, it wasn't on paper wins and losses as successful of a year. But we did get to see players that I'm really excited for here in Buffalo this year, not only pitching wise, and guys like Hayden Yinger, Yosra Zulueta, who were optioned out of Major League Spring Training just yesterday down to the minor league side of things, but guys like Spencer Horwitz or even potentially Orelvis Martinez, who spent all of last year in New Hampshire and is one of the top prospects in the organization. And when you talk top prospects, last year was Gabriel Moreno, top prospect for the Blue Jays. At one point, the top prospect, according to MLB Pipeline and Baseball America, as the top prospect overall in minor league baseball. So, trading him this past offseason to get Dalton Varsho from Arizona was an important move for the Blue Jays. So again, a year of transition and one where a lot of players got experience, especially at the end of last season with the way that the AA season ends before AAA does. So kind of that trickle-down effect of when guys go up to the big leagues, there's potentially some opportunities for AA players. And we saw that at the end of last year for guys like Addison Barger, Trevor Schwecke, Davis Schneider, John Aiello, just a handful of the names that spent the majority of last year with New Hampshire and got a taste of AAA life in September.
This partnership with the Blue Jays has been very successful.
Yeah, it has, and this will be the 10th actual season, although this will be the 11th year. Back in 2013 was the first season and year of the affiliation. Of course, 2020, there was no minor league season, so you can't count that year, but this is the 10th season of the affiliation, and it's going strong, and the partnership could not be better. We talked about it last year, the joint venture between Rich Baseball Operations, the company, our parent company that owns the Bisons, as well as the Blue Jays, to invest in the clubhouse structure, not even a batting cage, the hitting lab, a lot of the behind the scenes multi-million-dollar collaboration that took place when the Blue Jays played in Buffalo in 2021. All those things enhance the AAA experience, and there were going to need to be enhancements with the new player development contract in terms of major and minor league baseball. But what the Bisons and the Blue Jays did together goes so far above and beyond that, that both sides really have benefited greatly from what was a difficult, unique, you name the superlative, the adjective, experience over 2020 and 21, but one that we've come out the better side for.
And the Blue Jays obviously upgraded Selene Field when they were there for 2 years during the pandemic. And now they're doing major renovations to the Rogers Center. And from what I've seen, their spring training facility is very beautiful from the rentals there as well.
Yes, yeah, Salem Field. That's what I mentioned. In terms of the clubhouses in the batting lab at our ballpark downtown. It's a 35-year-old building. So always needing to continue to update it and make upgrades is so important. And yeah, TD Ballpark and even the Matic complex on the minor league side of things, and how expansive that has become. And a lot of the principles that are used down there in Dunedin are brought up to Salem Field in Buffalo to help make it an easy transition when you go from spring training in February and March to Buffalo in April, and then hopefully to Rogers Center after that. And I'm looking forward to seeing, just as a baseball fan and someone who enjoys going to Rogers Center every year, I'm looking forward to seeing the changes that are coming to the ballpark as that structure continues to evolve, as what differences in fan experience has become over the last 5 to 10 years. And, what used to be just sit in the stands, maybe have a drink and a hot dog and watch the game there are a lot of fans that still want to do that, but there are a lot of fans now that want to have that social experience as well, of just being in larger groups, common areas. I just saw a couple of days ago that the release from the Blue Jays about general admission areas that you can just buy a ticket, walk in and go to certain spots that you just stand around and watch the game and, have a good time. So that's, I'm excited to see what that all looks like now.
Just hard to believe when you just said Saline Field is 35 years old, because I remember when it first opened in 1988, and it was a big deal. And then the Rogers Center Skydome opened in 1989. Where has the time gone?
I know. And for us here in Buffalo, we take a lot of pride in the fact that there were not a lot of downtown ballparks, especially in minor league baseball, being built. And we were really the first. And the goal was to be major league in the expansion of the early 90s. That went to the Marlins and the Rockies. So we didn't end up getting that here in Buffalo. But the ballpark was the template for teams moving back downtown, and also kind of the template for what is Camden Yards in Baltimore, and that retro style feel that really came to define new ballparks in the 90s.
Absolutely. And this leads to my next question, Pat. Can you just tell us some of the changes to the Bisons coaching staff in 2023, and thoughts on manager Casey Candell? And I was reading up, I don't know, is Devon White still going to be with the organization this year?
He still is within the Blue Jays organization, but taking on a different role. He has worked so well with not only our outfield prospects here in Buffalo over the last couple of years, but whether it's base running or certain aspects of the game. Devo has been such a valuable resource for players, and we've seen it, whether it's Lourdes Gurriel Jr., his transition from infield to outfield, you name it. Jonathan Davis, who's no longer in the organization, but came up and contributed at certain times. So Devon White will still be in the organization. He'll just have a new role this year. This season, Justin Echeverria will take on that more development coach role. In addition to Casey Candell, Jake McGuigan is the only returning coach on the team as a coach on the staff this year. New pitching coach, mentioned Jeff Ware. He has an exciting new opportunity to help out as one of the bullpen coaches for the Blue Jays. So Tim Norton, who was a pitcher in the Yankees organization and previously was a coach in the Yankees chain as well. He's going to be the AAA pitching coach this year, his first year here. And the exciting part, Corey Hart is taking on a new assignment as well. So that gives an opportunity to someone like Matt Haig, who is a league MVP in the International League with the Bisons in his time in AAA baseball. So someone who performed well for the Bisons, with the Bisons at Salem Field, and now will be somebody that's be instrumental in helping the hitters here at AAA after 2 successful years in New Hampshire.
When do the Bisons open up spring training? And is it in Braden, Florida, or do they have it in Dunedin?
Yeah, it's right in Dunedin.
Okay.
For the minor league side, kicked off about a week ago, last Monday. So 9 days ago now. A lot of the players, it's not only on the major league side of things, but you have a lot of players that will be added to the major league spring training side of things for non-roster free agents, 40-man roster players, guys that are going to spend time in big league camp and get spring training games in. So yesterday I mentioned, there are a handful of players that were optioned out of spring camp down to the minor league side. So they'll join those groups of players that are now in Dunedin at the Matic complex. That was had undergone multi-million-dollar renovations prior to the 2020 spring training calendar. They're down there now, and they'll be playing in games, and places like Clearwater, Bradenton as well, some of the close sites. at Tampa against the Yankees minor league affiliates as well. So those games take place now. In less than 2 weeks, they'll head up to Buffalo and have a couple of workouts before heading to Scranton Wilkes-Barre to start the year on earliest ever, March 31st.
You must be looking forward to it. Are you going to be able to go up there for like a week or a couple days to see them up in Florida?
Not this year, just with the time, how soon the season starts this year, and a couple of the projects we're working on here. Just wasn't in the cards this year, but hopefully next year. I always enjoy going down, not only getting a chance to see the major league side of things and see my old friend Ben Wagner, but just go down and meet with the coaching staff, see some of the players on the development side of things in the minor league complex, and get a feel for what our roster might look like.
And speaking of Ben, he's done a great job as the radio voice of the Jays. And speaking of that, Jerry Howarth turned 77 the other day. And I'm hoping one day they put him up on the Jays level of excellence alongside Tom Cheek, because Jerry Howarth is, to me, as much a part of the Blue Jays as Tom Cheek. And he was such a great announcer as well.
Yeah, and somebody that has stood the test of time, and really some of the more iconic calls. It's Tom Cheek and Jerry Howarth, and especially in this Blue Jays affiliation for the Bisons, when the Blue Jays were wild card and division winners and going to the American League Championship Series in back-to-back years. Those are the sounds of summer and fall for a lot of us who have quickly become big fans of the Toronto Blue Jays.
I would expect the Blue Jays to be battling for the division. I'm not sure they'll take over the Yankees, but I expect the Blue Jays team to win at least 90 to 93 games this year, and they should be a playoff team.
Yeah, with the moves that they've made this past offseason, mentioned, flipping your depth, so to speak, for Gabriel Moreno, sending him to Arizona for Dalton Varsho, trading Teoscar Hernandez to Seattle for some pitching help as well. Chris Bassett added to the equation for the pitching staff. So those aren't moves that you make just to be good enough. Those are moves that you make because you think you should be able to contend for the division and not only make the playoffs in the expanded playoff format, but win games in the postseason. You mentioned the ALCS, making a deep run in the playoffs is something that this Blue Jays team, look, you had George Springer, you make a lot of these moves. Hyun-Jin Ryu's injured right now, but that was really that was the catalyst for the Blue Jays to say, we're making a run now. And then you add George Springer to the mix prior to 2021. And, this is a team that the expectations are ratcheted up every year.
Absolutely. Now, since I have you on here, Pat, obviously the minor league baseball the last couple of years has done the pitch clock and some of the rules. They actually did the ghost or the runner at second in extra innings. What are your thoughts on those rules now going into Major League Baseball for 2023?
Look, they work. I mean, at the bottom line is, in minor league baseball last year, we saw a reduction in the average game time of about 25 minutes. From the start of the season to the end, it varied. And the one thing about baseball is it's a game of adjustments, whether pitchers have had to adapt over the course of time to how good hitters are and vice versa. Players have had to adapt, and pitchers maybe didn't like the pitch clock in terms of the enforcement, because the pitch clock has actually been in minor league baseball in AAA since about 2015. But it wasn't long. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily strictly enforced until last year. And there have been other moves as well. Like prior to the last couple of years, you could try a pickoff move more than twice. They call them disengagements when the pitcher steps off the rubber. If he calls for time, if the catcher calls for time during an at-bat, if the pitcher throws over to first base, you only get 2 of those now during a single at-bat. And that is something that really has increased the speed of the game. And same for the batter. They're not allowed to get a courtesy step out more than once in an at-bat now. So they have to be ready to go. Last year, the pitch clock, if there was no one on base, you had 14 seconds. Someone on base, it was 19. So the major league side, it's 15 and 20. So that was the adjustment period of pitchers just had to realize, look, if I work slow, I've got to figure it out within a 14-second or 19-second window. And if you don't, then a ball is going to be called. Or if you step off more than 2 times and try and pick a guy off, you try it for a 3rd time, you don't get him, he gets the base automatically. So those are all rule changes that increase the speed of games in a positive way in minor league baseball. And look, there will be adjustment periods. There's going to be violations that happen, and they're going to make people very unhappy, whether it's a hitter, a pitcher, or a team. And you just hope that they're not in impactful situations where they do happen. But the pace of games really has been an issue that Major League Baseball has needed to solve in the last handful of years. We talk about, the way fans go to games and the difference in how they want to see a game at the ballpark. Well, how a fan watches a game has changed, and how much time a fan has to dedicate to a regular season 1 out of 162 or even a postseason game has changed as well. So that's something that Major League Baseball has had to really take a hard look at and figure out a way to really increase fan engagement.
Now, speaking to Bisons fans, last couple years down there, Pat, overall, how do they like these rules in minor league baseball? Are they quite happy with it? Like, I'm a traditionalist, but I'm willing to see how this goes this year.
Yeah, and I think fans wanted to really see the results, and they did last year. Once you see the results, and once you see that the game takes 2 hours and 15 to 2 hours and 30 minutes instead of 2 hours and 45 to 3 hours, people like it. Maybe the broadcasters, we have to learn to adjust and adapt and not take as long to tell a story anymore. But I think everybody by the end of the year was happy with the results, and we'll see if now the limiting and banning of shifting has an impact, and that takes time. The minor league side of things, that window was tight as well with the pitch clock, but that all took extra time in the majors that won't be there anymore. And will that increase the speed of games, and how fast will hitters adjust to and pitchers adjust to the shift being banned? That's something that I think is an open question for this year.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering that. And I wanted to ask you about that as well, Pat, because obviously they've had these rules down. 2015, hard to believe. But this question I wanted to ask you too, since I have you on, Pat, is what are some of the upcoming events going on at Saline Field on opening day in the month of April? And maybe just talk about some of the big events this summer at the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest events always are Star Wars Night, which will be in June, and then the Independence Eve celebration on July the 3rd with the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra. That is a yearly event at our ballpark. Last year, it actually took place on July 4th with the way that the schedule shook out. The Bisons were on the road on Sunday, July 3rd last year, so they hosted Syracuse on July 4th. This year, the Bisons will be home on the 4th of July again, or 3rd of July against Worcester, and then be on the road on the 4th. Those are incredible nights at the ballpark where the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra puts on a great show post-game. It's a 6:05 start time for that July 3rd game. So mentioned Star Wars Night. That'll be a sold-out event at some point. If you want to come out to the ballpark and you're a Star Wars fan, the Bisons are wearing special Ewok-themed jerseys for that night. And one of the things I really think we take a lot of pride in, a lot of teams do Star Wars nights. It's incredibly successful. Jerseys, maybe you have some characters come out. But one thing that we do that nobody else does, and I can say that for a fact, is we put on a Star Wars themed presentation every year with a local Star Wars group called the Northridge, where Lucasfilms actually gets the script. They approve, make changes, what have you. And then every half inning from like the 5th or 6th inning on, that presentation those vignettes will play, and it culminates in an on-field fight scene at the end of Star Wars Night before a big one of our biggest fireworks shows of the year. So not only do you have the jerseys, not only do we have the laser swords that'll be the young kids will have, and we have family packs where you can get tickets, hot dogs and a drink and a laser sword, for that night. You can buy them when you get to the ballpark. But when you have all of that combined with the fact that we put on what is our own Star Wars themed presentation, that really enhances the night.
Now, last year you guys did something with the Buffalo Bandits. Are you guys doing that again this year? Because I think that's great, and I love the game of lacrosse, and I just think that's great, and I hope to be down there this year when you guys have the Bandits lacrosse there then again.
Yep, there'll be lacrosse night and hockey night as well at the ballpark again this year. Similar theme to last year. So those were fun events that were on the calendar last year. So we're looking forward to having those again this year. we had several players from the Bandits join us at Salem Field last year to be part of it. I know they're excited about it. We hope they make a deep run into the NLL playoffs again, just like last year. Hopefully a different result by the end of the season, but looking forward to that on Thursday, June 15th. That's the lacrosse night against the Syracuse Mets. So it'll be fun. And hockey night is one that I really enjoy as well. We started that one in 2019. Last year had the Sabres, what is now the Sabres road jersey, as the theme of those jerseys and caps. So that'll be a fun night as well.
And that's one thing I like about Buffalo. All the teams support each other. You're basically one Buffalo, and I think that's great.
Yeah, and we've had over the years the first round pick of the Bills and the Sabres come out and throw a first pitch. I know hopefully the Bills have a good draft coming up in April, and we'll have an opportunity to celebrate that player as well. So it's exciting, and that's what it's all about here, and we're looking forward to continuing that partnership with our friends at the Sabres, Bills, and Bandits, and the Buttes too.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Hey, and while I have you on here too, also there's something for Canadian fans from Southern Ontario. They can get tickets at par until end of May, I guess.
Yeah, so that's another great feature. Thanks for bringing that up. Where we love our friends just across the border, and we love the fact that we can welcome them again with open arms, and no border restrictions. Something that really was still in place last year. Having to use the ArriveCan app, and now that you can cross the border, the way we did back in 2019 and prior to that, we are really looking forward to having the Canadian fan base join us. So yeah, game tickets, any single game ticket, it's for any game throughout the course of the season. It doesn't have to be a game in April or May, but if you purchase single game tickets with Canadian money, it'll be at par through May 31st. So you can do that. And you can head over to bisons.com. The promo code, if you're buying them online, welcome back, all one word in caps when you go to checkout. Or if you're down here in Buffalo, maybe you're coming to the Sabres game this Sunday or the Bandits game on Saturday night, and you're here during the day, just I encourage you to check out our ticket office hours. Normal business hours during the day, 10 to 2 on Saturdays, and you bring Canadian cash, you can buy Bison tickets at par for any game throughout the course of the season. Again, now through May 31st.
I think that's awesome. And I always enjoy coming down to Saline Field. And I want to say thank you to you, Pat, for letting me come back again this summer to cover the Bisons as a freelance journalism. I really appreciate that. And I really enjoyed it last year. And my birthday, you guys are home for my birthday this year on June 29th as well.
Well, that might be a reason to come down and celebrate.
Definitely. And also, hopefully I get to see Bud Bailey. I've had him on my show a couple times, and I had Howard Simon on it. Everybody in your city, media-wise, has been so great with my my show and my media work, and I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping to be at the Bandits game this Saturday against Colorado as well. I'm just waiting for approval from the National Lacrosse League as well.
Yeah, and it's exciting down there, and the level of support that the Bandits get, consistently 10,000 or so fans a night is impressive. And I know that's another reason why we love to have crossover events, because of the enthusiasm that fans show for not only professionals, the big four major sports, but minor league baseball and box lacrosse as well, and how that has been so exciting since it was introduced here in Buffalo in the 90s.
Yeah, 1992, which is hard to believe. And I had their PA announcer on recently, Chris Swanson as well. And he does such a great job doing that. And it's such a fun presentation. And you guys, the Bisons in-game presentation, you guys do an excellent job as well. It's so important to engage with fans when they're at the ballpark or the arena nowadays.
Yeah, and really, I think a lot of what minor league baseball has done over the years, taking every game as an individual event, is something that we're seeing in Major League Baseball, because the majors have come to realize that we do things really well in the minor leagues. And it's fun to go see the Yankees and the Red Sox, and a lot of those rivalry games, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, the Blue Jays and the Yankees. But there's so much more to it than just coming to the ballpark, and with the new areas of the ballparks, bobblehead giveaways, t-shirt, jerseys, all those different things. Promotions and fan engagement is such a part of why fans come to the ballpark. And that's something that we do really well in the minors, I think. And we take a lot of pride in it at Sahlen Field and at the ballpark. And, always looking to improve and always trying to come up with new ideas like Star Wars Night nearly 2 decades ago, and Bandits or Sabres, hockey and lacrosse nights and things like that, to really continue to drive fan engagement and give folks a reason to come back to the ballpark.
Okay, hey Pat, are you still good for a couple more questions?
Sure.
I am keeping. Okay, I've got the time clock on, so no worries, no pitch clock. But since we're talking about coming to the ballpark, are there any new food options at Sahlen Field in 2023? And for those that are watching or listening to this podcast and have never been to Sahlen Field, can you just tell us what is currently on the menu for food options?
Yeah, well, our ballpark, as you mentioned, Sahlen Field is that's the local food company here in Buffalo, and come down and get a Sahlen's hot dog. That is their premier product. We have those at the ballpark. We just had an event this past Saturday and had a couple myself and enjoy having a hot dog at a ball game. So hot dogs at the ballpark are always such an important part of the tradition. So you can come get a hot dog. Some great food options at our concession stands. Beef on weck is a Buffalo staple here with the roast beef sandwich on a Kaiser roll with caraway seeds and salt. And if you haven't had that before, I highly recommend it. We have the Consumers Pub at the park, where it's a pregame buffet that you can purchase ahead of time or just show up day of the game and take part in as well. So a lot of different good food options. And any new options this year, you'll have to stay tuned, as we're gonna have an event coming up in a couple of weeks to debut some new products. So always some exciting stuff to be unveiled before the start of the year.
And are you still having your Thursday night, Friday night beer specials as well for the local craft beers?
Yeah, there will be a Resurgence Brewing happy hour on Fridays for our Honda Friday night bashes. I'll be a part of it again as well. Always enjoy that. And Thirsty Thursday was a good promotion last year. And again, check out bisons.com, because I know in the past, we've always had a lot of Thursday afternoon games throughout the course of the summer, but we've kind of shifted that a little bit this year as well to adjust to the change in kind of demand of the different days of the week, where Wednesday's our day game. So we'll be playing on Thursday nights at home for the majority of the summer as well. And we'll be having plenty of different specials and promotions for those nights.
Okay. Are you guys bringing back those baby blue jerseys again for your third jerseys this year?
Yeah, the same uniform combinations that we had last year. We had the home, the roads, the baby blue Sunday jerseys, the alternate blue jersey tops, and even a couple that mentioned Star Wars Night. We have a couple of other ones I can't unveil right now, but some really cool jerseys that'll be coming this year as well. That really say, really represent who we are and where we're from and what Buffalo is all about. So looking forward to a lot of that stuff, that not only the primary and alternate jerseys, but some of the specialty days at the ballpark that we're looking forward to unveiling throughout the course of the year.
Okay, definitely. And just get 2 quick questions for you, Pat. Just one I had to bring up. Just 1 second. I forgot, I made a boo-boo on the graphics, but who do you like to win the World Baseball Classic? And I already answered this part of the question. And what's it like having 33 current or former Bisons in this tournament? And who do you like overall to win it?
Yeah, it's such an interesting question. I don't even like, obviously, down here in the States, I'd love to see USA defend their title, but it's such a unique tournament and different type of experience, whether it's, pitchers being on pitch limits because it's really still during spring training. You don't want injuries to happen, and things like the mercy rule that you don't see in a course of a regular game. So, I've seen that a handful of times. Canada's been on the good side and the bad side of it. The U.S. nearly on the wrong side of it against Mexico a couple of days ago. And then once you get to the knockout stage, it's exciting as well. So I don't know who the clear-cut favorite for me is, but it's a point of pride. We talk about it all the time of, whether it's the Buffalo Baseball Hall of Fame, these 33 players that you mentioned. There's also several coaches that are coaching in the World Baseball Classic that came through Buffalo, and just the web and the alumni tree that has been built through what has been so many successful seasons, not only since the modern era, which we consider 1985 to the present, but also throughout just the course of history of baseball. There have been so many influential figures that have either come from Buffalo or played for the different Buffalo Bisons teams that we really take a lot of pride in.
Now, I know Max Scherzer of the Mets was saying he would have liked to play in this tournament, but he says he was concerned that when they do this in March, guys would throw their arms out. Now, do you agree with it being now in March, or do you think maybe they should do it during the middle of the season, Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in the middle of the season. I wouldn't want to stop the regular season, kind of like what the NBA is thinking of doing with that kind of Premier League style tournament that's been talked about recently. There's pros and cons to everything, but I do think if you're going to have it, it has to be at the beginning of the season, because you can't have it at the end of the year after so many players have played, whether it's 150 in the minors or 162 game seasons in the majors. In season, you don't want to stop the momentum of what is a full year of baseball. So spring training is the only really logical place to put it. But then again, I mentioned that the pitch limits for guys, only being able to throw 65 pitches in the opening round because they don't want pitchers to have an elbow or shoulder injury and things like that. So I don't think there's a good answer, but I think it's probably the best place it could be, just given kind of the situation.
Okay. And I just got two quick questions to wrap this up, Pat. This one I had to ask you since you do some college basketball, but since we got this going on in March, who are some of the teams to watch out for in the NCAA March Madness tournament? And do you have a particular favorite right now?
I mean, Alabama has been such a good team, and it's been their story's well documented this year, and they've have their own issues to deal with on and off the court. Houston was such a good team this year. Suffered a defeat in their conference championship, but are really good. UCLA injuries have really maybe taken them out of what could be a championship season. It's a lot of the traditional names of college basketball, it feels like. But the fun thing that we've seen over the last really 5 NCAA tournament seasons is it's unpredictable, because there are teams. Last year in the conference that Canisius and Niagara are in, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, St. Peter's goes to the Elite Eight. Not because they were the best team, but they were a group of players that played together for 3 or 4 years, and they were the best team. And they were able to beat a lot of really good teams, but maybe didn't have the chemistry. So that's the stuff I look forward to in March is, can an Iona upset a UConn who's playing really good basketball right now? Is Iowa State a team that plays really good against the tough competition of the Big 12? Are they able to make a run? Who are the Cinderellas this year? So those are all the exciting things that's why March Madness has that moniker. And that's why so many people love to follow it, and the tournament field keeps expanding.
And that's what I love about it. And I don't have a favorite. I'm just going to watch it, enjoy it, and I'm sure there'll be some upsets as well. Pat, final question for you. I'll let you go if you've got one more minute. Where can my audience find you on social media, and where can they again purchase Buffalo Bisons tickets for their home games at Selene Field? And just briefly about the home opener against the Worcester Red Sox. I believe it's April 4th at 2:05. Thursday, April 4th at 2:05 first pitch.
Yep, at Salem Field, we'll have the Worcester Red Sox here for the first of 2 trips on the season. As you mentioned, 2:05 on Tuesday, April the 4th. Looking forward to that. You can head to bisons.com, get all the ticket and promotion information that we've talked about. It'll be a great summer here at the ballpark. Mentioned Canadian tickets at par for our friends on your side of the border to come enjoy Bison games. And you can find me on social media at PatWGR on Twitter. And looking forward to interacting with folks throughout the course of the year.
All right. Well, Pat, hey, I was going to say, thank you so much for giving me some time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to coming down to Selene Field, hopefully a few times this year to cover the team. And I really appreciate the opportunity. And you guys made me feel like part of the team when I was down there last summer as well.
Glad to hear it, and looking forward to seeing you this summer, Chris.
Okay, Pat. Well, you have a great afternoon, and let's go Bisons. Good luck. All right, guys, that was season 5, episode 32 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, which is now weeknights. Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Metro Atlanta. And again, I want to say thank you to Ryan O'Neill, the station manager, for giving me an opportunity to have this show on his station 3 to 4 times a week. So please check out WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, for live with CDP Sports Talks, weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern as well. And again, I want to say thanks to Pat Malacaro, again, the voice of the Buffalo Bisons, for coming on today, and looking forward to going down to Saline Field this summer and covering the team as a freelance journalist. And it's a great time. If you guys haven't been to a game yet at Saline Field in Buffalo, it's 5 minutes from the Peace Bridge, right off exit 6. There's plenty of parking there. The ticket price is affordable, and it's a great environment, great ballpark, great environment, good food selection, and it's a great location in downtown Buffalo as well. And the Blue Jays and Bisons partnership has been great. And even if you're not a Blue Jays fan, AAA baseball is very good baseball, very competitive, and you see a lot of great talent as well. And I'm a Tigers fan, so I'm hoping the Toledo Mud Hens come to Buffalo this year, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, again, thanks to Pat Malacaro for coming on here today. And also, guys, I do have another podcast show today, live with CDP, doubleheader at 4 o'clock Eastern. My guest is going to be Nino Chimino. He is an actor, writer, producer, and founder of Chamillo Productions, if I said that right, out in Los Angeles, California. He's a huge Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls fan, so I look forward to speaking to Nino about his acting career out there. And also, he grew up in Chicago, or just outside of Chicago, in Rockford, Illinois. So hopefully we can talk about his family's pizzeria business in Chicago as well, guys. Before we wrap this up, guys, I'm going to just play a little clip of my interview with Windsor Express of the National Basketball League of Canada, center number 33, William Claiborne from the Windsor Express. I did this interview last Wednesday at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium after the Express's win over the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. Chris Palme, AKC CDP, here at the Kitchener with a very impressive 125 to 101 win over the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. My guest here is William Claiborne. He is a center with the Windsor Express. William, thoughts on this win tonight, and what caused the turnaround in the second quarter? Because you guys were down by, I think, 12 or more points in the first. Just tell us how you turned it on in the second quarter.
We just stayed together. When we're playing together and we have fun out there, we usually have a great basketball game. So we stayed together, we pushed through, we fought hard, and we came back and we got the dub.
Would you consider this one of your better wins of the season?
Yes, because everybody had shots, everybody had the ball, everybody was having fun. It was an overall good win.
And I really thought it started with the defense, and then everybody balanced scoring tonight. Just quick thoughts on this Kitchener-Waterloo Titans team.
They play tough. They play rough. They're a really good team.
Okay. And where are you from, William?
I'm from Slidell, Louisiana. That's right outside of New Orleans.
How much of an adjustment was it coming from the States to Canada?
Really big adjustment. It's cold here right now, but at home, everybody is outside barbecuing and having fun in the sun.
Quick thoughts on Coach Bill Jones.
That's my guy. He breaks his back for us.
And is there a story behind your number?
Number 33?
Yeah.
No, actually, I was just given this number. My favorite number is 15.
15?
Yeah.
33 is a good number. Larry Bird wore number 33 with the Boston Celtics. But what do you like about the NBLC so much?
The arenas, the team. Well, my team, this is the only team I've been with, the guys that's behind the scenes and stuff like that. We're a real family, and that's why I'm back here.
And what do you think of playing for the Windsor Express in the city of the Windsor?
It's very cold. It's always cold. It's never not cold. And, Windsor Express, they treated me good. They gave me everything I needed to be the best basketball player I could be.
Favorite NBA team, favorite NFL?
I have a new NBA team. It's the Suns, and because my favorite player is Kevin Durant.
Good choice. I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, but we're in a rebuild. What? We're going to wrap this up shortly, William. What's one word to describe you as a basketball player?
Hard working. Wait. Diligent.
And what kind of identity do you guys want for this Express team for the fans to see this year?
Identity makes us better on offense.
Okay. And where can my audience find you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at PostGuideEasy. PostGuideEasy.
Definitely. And when is your next game? I believe it's Friday night.
Friday against
the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. So you guys are going to have to get ready again, prepare. How difficult is it playing the same team so many times in a week?
It's like a playoff setting. You have to constantly make adjustments, and that's it. You really just got to make adjustments.
Well, I'm going to wrap this up, William, but thank you for coming on live with CDP, and I will have to get up to a game at the WFC Center in Windsor. I'm out of Guelph, so I'm not far from here.
Come on and see it. It's real lit, man.
It's great basketball, and you guys, like I said, you guys are now 6-7 and try to even up.
If you come to the game, I'll put you on my list. You get in free. You know.
Oh, you don't have to do that, but thank you so much, William. I really appreciate it. Have safe travel back to Windsor.
Sure.
All right, guys, that clip was courtesy of my YouTube channel, and that was William Claiborne, number 33, a center with the Windsor Express, and I really appreciate him coming on my show, and thank you to the National Basketball League of Canada for having me as a media affiliate as I cover their games live or on their post-game Zoom shows as well, guys. Again, my next live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Collins Chevrolet and on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Metro Atlanta, will be 4 o'clock this afternoon. My guest again will be Nino Chimino. He's an actor, writer, producer, and founder of Chimino Productions, and we're going to talk about his movie career, being a producer, director, actor, and also starting up his own production company when he was 21 years old. And also talk a little bit about the Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears. He's a huge fan of as well. Guys, also with my guest, Pat Malacaro, you can follow Pat on Twitter at PatWGR. That's at PatWGR as well. And also you can check out his station, odyssey.com/WGR550 as well. And also, guys, you can check out the Buffalo Bisons website, MILB.com/Buffalo. So that's MILB.com/Buffalo Bisons, or you guys can get your tickets on bisons.com as well. And their home opener again, guys, is I believe April 4th against the Worcester Red Sox at 2:05 p.m. in downtown Buffalo, and it should be a great season for the Bisons. And again, the Bisons open up the regular season, I believe, March 31st against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre AAA team, farm team of the New York Yankees as well. So, all right, guys, as always, Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Also, guys, you can follow my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. All my social media work, content work is all there, and my previous podcast shows is there as well. And also, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Collins Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. You can check out barrycollin.com again for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycollin.com. And also, guys, you can pre-order the all-electric Cadillac Lyric or the all-electric Silverado, again, at Barry Collins Chevrolet. And if you want to test drive a Cadillac Lyric, just either call them or email them, and they can arrange that as well, guys. You can also follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. That's at Live with CDP on TikTok. I post a lot of social content, video content there, my podcast on there as well, guys. Also, guys, StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting like myself, StreamYard I would highly recommend as well. And as always, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is also produced by CDP Media Productions here in Ontario as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk podcast, the audio version is available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and Tuned In as well. And if you have any questions or comments about my show here on Live with CDP Sports Talk or on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Atlanta, you guys can email me directly at cpomay, that's cpomay, POMAY, 19 at gmail.com. Any questions or suggestions or what feedback would be greatly appreciated. And you guys can also follow me on LinkedIn. Just type in Chris Pomay and I'll accept you as well. And also, guys, you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter at Chris D. Pomay, Instagram. And also, guys, please consider subscribing and liking my YouTube channel. Type in Chris Pomay or Live with CDP Sports Talk on my YouTube channel as well. I post a lot of content there as well. And I think that's about it, guys. There was some NFL news today, obviously. The Buffalo Bills signed free agent guard Connor McGovern from the Dallas Cowboys, I believe a 3-year contract as well. And right now we have the World Baseball Classic going on. Last night, the US beat Canada 12-1. And again, guys, I want to say happy National Pie Day as well. And my favorite pie is blueberry pie as well, guys. Oh, one other thing, guys. The Buffalo Bisons are also excited to welcome back the great baseball fans from Southern Ontario to Saline Field in 2023, and will be accepting Canadian money at par, as Pat Malacaro mentioned, for the purchase of all single game tickets by Canadian residents through May 31st. So if you've never been to a Bisons game in Buffalo yet, please check this offer out, and it's on bisons.com as well. No service, no fee, pre-sale for all the 2023 single game ticket sales as well. And that's one other shout out, guys. Can you check out Fix It Auto Collision at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall? And you can speak with Kevin Knight, their body shop manager, or email them at guelph@fixauto.com, or call them at 519-836-0600 as well. They did a nice job on my little minor fender bender I had a couple of weeks ago. So check out Fix It Auto Collision if you unfortunately have an accident, and they can do a great job in restoring the body of your car as well, guys. And that's about it. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest, Pat Malacaro, from the Buffalo Bisons, the play-by-play announcer, and also with WGR 550 for coming on my show for a third time and talking some baseball today with the Buffalo Bisons, and also a little bit about the Sabres as well as the Toronto Blue Jays. So again, thank you to Pat for coming on. And guys, I hope you guys can tune in to Season 5, Episode 33 this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern with my guest, Nino Chimino, actor, writer, producer, and founder of his own production company called Chimio Productions as well. Looking forward to that as well. And that's about it, guys. I hope you guys all have a great afternoon, and we'll see you back here at 4 o'clock for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk. And if you guys can give me some time later this afternoon, I will download both podcast episodes to my audio platforms, and eventually they will be on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, and Metro Atlanta. Shout out to Ryan O'Neill, their station manager, for giving me this opportunity as well. All right. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we'll see you again here at 4 o'clock for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk. Thank you to everyone watching this live stream today, and also on my audio platform, and to my audience on WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, weeknights at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on that station as well. All right, guys, we'll talk to you at 4 o'clock for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk. Have a great afternoon, everybody.